Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, another video about liver, and my channel is about liver awareness. I have liver cirrhosis, which there's no cure for. My videos are basically about my story of living with it, with a disease with no cure, and some of the things I've learned throughout it. I'm not a doctor or a medical profession by any means, but these are things that I've found. First thing I want to say is make sure you do your research. If you have any kind of disease or chronic illness, you should definitely do as much research on that subject as you possibly can. Knowledge is power, and it's good to have. And don't take just one source. Look for many. And that way you can take those things and you can see if something's getting repeated, it's probably got some truth to it. Sometimes you'll find stuff out there that it just doesn't have any real scientific proof behind it. It's just somebody's opinion. So you do run into that. Kind of like this video, my opinion. No. But I want to talk today about my diet and what I eat and how I eat, because that is like huge when it comes to liver cirrhosis. You have to make sure your diet's correct. And this is not as difficult as what you would think it would be. When you're going through life and you're living a certain way and you eat this and you eat that and this is your favorite food and this is how you do it, and all of a sudden someone says, stop it, change, do this now. It's kind of hard to just make a 360 turn or a 180 degree turn and just all of a sudden change direction. So I know that. So this is a little bit about what I do and some of the things I've done to where it doesn't make those changes as difficult, but yet those changes are definitely needed. And they are so vitally important to staying as healthy as possible with this disease. And also so important to having the energy you need just to continue on throughout a day. One of the main things with liver cirrhosis is protein deficiency. Your liver does a lot in producing the proteins, and albumin's a big one, to do lots of things in your body. Those proteins, sorry, loud car. Those proteins are things like to, help you grow muscle, to give you strength, energy, allow you to think, your heart to keep going, your organs to keep going. Your body needs fuel, and that protein is that fuel. So if you're deficient in it, you're going to be low on fuel, and your body's going to be misfiring. You're going to be running around with a flat tire, essentially. So, and I also know that with this disease, once you have cirrhosis, sometimes you just don't want to eat. I know this because, you can get nauseous stomach aches, feel full, especially if you have fluid in the abdomen. That can cause pressure buildup. That can cause, not so much room, you go throughout the whole thing of you eat and then, wind up throwing up right after. Happened to me a bunch of times. I'm sure it's happened. If you have cirrhosis, I'm sure you've been through that too. Then you got varices and things like that. Varices is long story short, it's a vein that shouldn't be there in the esophagus that can burst and cause internal bleeding. That's for a different subject. I have hit on that in the past videos if you want to check those out. So anyway, throughout the meal, generally the idea was always 3 meals a day, right? Breakfast, lunch, dinner, right? And then maybe a healthy snack in between. But let's face it, we are in a fast-paced world and we eat a lot of snacks. I mean, we're constantly snacking. If, at least I know I was, and sometimes I still am. And it's, especially if you're continuing going and you're working a full-time job and you get hungry because you get low on fuel and, you got to eat something real quick. So you eat a candy bar on the run or something like that. Well, here's the problem when you have cirrhosis. that candy bar where you would get some quick energy from isn't going to help you. And the reason for it is because the chemical reactions in your body and how your body works by converting those calories into energy, it's not working right. So you need to be aware of that and need to make changes so that you can get all the energy you can possibly get, most bang for your buck out of what you eat. So, as having liver cirrhosis, I try to eat about 6 smaller meals a day, 6 to 7 smaller meals a day. I don't sit and have a big giant meal. Breakfast is probably my largest meal for me. I'll start in the morning and I'll kind of work my way through. So in the breakfast, I'll wake up and I try to get something with protein in it. One of the things that's good breakfast food that has high protein is Greek yogurt. Greek yogurt does carry a lot of protein. You can usually get 12 to 14% of your daily value. Well, not for us. Regular diet, out of a container of Oikos or any of the other brands. I buy the Walmart brand. It's got just as much protein, and you're looking at a pack of 4 for $2.50 compared to, $4.99 for name brand. I mean, that's twice as much. And, the fruit's on the bottom, you just stir it up, and it tastes just fine. Another product I'll do, milk's very important. Milk's got a lot of protein in it. Well, not a lot, depends on what you get. I tend to stick to whole milk as far as I can, 2% or whole milk, because it's got a little more protein in it. It's got a little more fat in it, but for the amount that I eat, I'm not overly worried about the fat content of it, because I'm not ingesting as many calories probably on a daily basis as what, an active athlete or somebody who's, working a full-time job is. But I'll look for cereal with protein in it. Raisin Bran's got some protein in it. It's not a ton, but it's not horrible. Quaker makes and I forgot what it's called. It's like, there's like 3 of them. One of them's got almonds, the other one's chocolate, and then there's another flavor. But those things are like 14-15% of your daily value of protein in those, and they're like $5 a box compared to some of the protein cereals are like $8 a box. It's insane, especially if you're getting into the Atkins diet, because there's a lot of Atkins stuff out there that's got high protein, and those are super expensive. So you got to kind of watch that too. Beans. I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead. I'm still at breakfast. So eggs is another good one. Eggs got a decent amount of protein. Sometimes I'll make scrambled eggs, and a cup of milk with it. So that's breakfast. And then usually my snack won't have as much protein in it. I may have something like 2 cookies. This might be my sweet spot for the day. Maybe a small serving of ice cream. This is getting closer to lunch. This is just a filler in between. I do tend a lot to stick to granola bars, because granola bars do tend to have a lot of things in them that aren't as bad for you, so you can get your snack in without it being filled with sugar. And I don't always do like a sweet snack. I usually do, one sweet snack, and I save it for the evening, and that's my sweet snack. And then, lunchtime. Usually what I'll do for lunch is, I can do a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, which is, got some protein in it from the peanut butter, or I'll do a frozen burrito. Those got some protein in them. If you ever seen those, those little frozen things, those little frozen corn dogs, those got some protein because the hot dog that's in it's got the protein. I look for something that's like a pizza roll, something that is quick that I can throw in an air fryer and heat up for lunch, and then I'll eat a smaller lunch, you know. And then later on in the day, I'll pick another healthier snack, maybe granola bar again, or something throughout the day, maybe a piece of fruit, something like that. And then dinner time. Usually, sometime after lunch, I'll pull the meat out of the freezer, and it depends on how I do this. So if I'm just making something, I'll pull like a pork chop. I do a lot of boneless pork chops. One, because they cook quick, and also they're cheaper than steak. I don't do a lot of beef products, not because I don't like it. It's because it's expensive. And I'm not a huge chicken fan. Otherwise, I'd get more chicken. But chicken's not bad either. Chicken's got good protein. But I do a lot of pork, and I'll fry the pork. Sometimes I'll slow cook a few ribs throughout the day, and those will cook all day, and that'll be my dinner. And then I'll do like an instant mash, something quick, an instant mash, maybe macaroni and cheese, some kind of starch, maybe a rice, something like that to go with it, and then maybe a canned vegetable or something like that, or a salad, so I get those vitamins out of the greens as well. And then in the evening after that, usually I get my evening snack, whatever that might be. That's my junk food hour. That's when I get those things. I may have a few cookies. I might have whatever it might be. Maybe a small bowl of ice cream. I like grapes. I actually eat a lot of grapes in the evening. A lot of times that's my nighttime snack, which I know that's not horrible for you, but there's also nothing in it that's really good for you either. There is some sugar in that. So again, that's my evening snack. So another thing you can do, which I've done as well, is meal prep. What I'll do for that is, you can get like pre-made bowls. I'll take macaroni and cheese and hot dogs, and I'll make a full package of hot dogs and a full box of macaroni and cheese, and I'll split it up in lunches over the next 3 days. And I got 3 days worth of lunches. So I got the mac and cheese, and I got the hot dogs for the protein. Mac and cheese on its own would not be a good meal for me because there's no protein in it. There's nothing really good in it at all. But the hot dogs have the protein in it. Or I'll throw together something else. I might cook up, 3 or 4 pork chops in the evening, and I'll separate them up, throw them in a Ziploc bag, and then at lunchtime I'll just throw them in the microwave or whatever, or throw them in a frying pan, or maybe if I have leftover rice, I'll cut it up and I'll throw it in with the rice and I'll heat it up real quick, something like that. But I tend to do meal preps a lot. Those really help. And if you get to the point where you're eating and you feel like, you might throw up or whatever, pace yourself. I can't always eat fast. Sometimes it takes me a while to eat a meal. I don't go out to eat. I never go to fast food. I might occasionally go out to a restaurant because I can get something that's semi-healthy for you. But, McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, Taco Bell, all those places, there's just so much fried fats in with those things. And being the fact that my liver is already having issues, and also the gallbladder, I have gallstones, and the gallbladder is designed to aid in digesting those fatty foods. So when you eat a lot of greasy foods, the gallbladder releases some bile, and that bile helps your system break it down, your digestive system. Well, with having a gallbladder that's got issues, that can cause some stomach discomfort as well. So I tend to steer away from that. During the day too, I may occasionally, do a random snack of some chips or something like that. My snacks are usually small. They're not like a full snack, where if I have potato chips, I might have 3 or 4 potato chips. I don't, eat half the bag in one sitting kind of thing. I try to stay away from that kind of thing. You know, pickles are another good one. There's nothing really that's good in there, but pickles aren't bad for you. You know, they're a little salty, but you know, they're still not horrible for you. I also don't generally add salt to anything because too much salt is not good for fluid retention. So I try to avoid that. I use a lot of pepper. I use a lot of my own seasonings. I use the slow cooker actually quite a bit. The slow cooker, I'll take something out the night before and I'll throw it in there, and then in the morning I'll throw it in there and I'll set it to medium and I'll let it cook all day long, and then I've got 2 or 3 meals throughout it because it's just me. So now a lot of these things that I talk about are feeding for one. You may have a family at home that you're feeding as well. You might be living with somebody who's making your meals, so you have to cater it to you in your situation. I mean, obviously this may not work for everybody, but I hope something here helps. I also, and I've done a video on this in the past, but I also stay away from natural remedies. And the reason for it is once the liver becomes cirrhotic, it's not processing properly. So those things that we do, I always heard about the liver cleanses and the milk thistle and the turmeric and all this stuff, and green teas and all that. Those things may have properties in them that might be good for you, but once your liver becomes cirrhotic, there's no scientific proof that they do anything good for you. In fact, it's just making your liver work harder when it's already having issues as it is. So I do get a lot of messages from people saying, try this fast, or take this herbal supplement, or this cures that, or that cures this. There is no magic cure. There's no magic drink, there's no magic pill, there's no magic anything. It's a whole bunch of little things that you put together and you continue moving forward. And that's what it is. It's all those things, it's your dieting, it's, getting exercise in, it's staying positive, it's going to the doctors, taking your medicine, avoiding things that you shouldn't be drinking or taking, not taking in too much of things that are bad for you. All those things combined, are what's going to help you continue on and continue fighting for another day. So it's not one magic thing. It's a whole bunch of things. So, well, I hope you enjoy this video. I want to thank everybody. If you liked what you see, please click the subscribe button and click the bell for notifications. Give a thumbs up if you like this video, if you saw anything that helps. Again, thank you so much for the support, and everybody who's subscribed to my YouTube channel here, and everybody who's liked my videos and made comments. I love your comments. Thank you so much for those. And thank you for everybody who has put donations, who's donated to my GoFundMe page. As you know, if you're living with a chronic disease, it's hard to make ends meet, and it's hard to live. I live on disability, and it really doesn't cover what I need to cover to survive. You take for granted some of those things that you've always had, like a car. Now can't afford a car, so you don't have a car, and those little things that, you've always been able to do, and all of a sudden you can't, but you make the best out of it, and you continue on. So I hope everyone here has a wonderful and blessed day. Thank you so much for everything, and stay blessed. Take care.